Hey everybody, so this is going to be a quick video. This is really, a question for you guys more so than me telling you something. I want to know who you guys think the greatest fighter in NHL history is. I know for me, my choice is clear. It's Bob Probert. I think Probert is the #1 fighter in NHL history. Just, he was the total package of size, intimidation, win-loss record, number of fights. It's not like he only fought a few times a year, but beat everybody. He fought a lot and beat a lot of people. He did lose fights. Obviously, everyone loses fights from time to time, but he was just such an intimidating person to have to fight, and fought so much and really played in the NHL at the height of fighting in the NHL. That mid to late 80s into the 90s was really the peak of hockey fighting in the NHL. It's just, I think it's Probert without a doubt. But there are plenty of other guys throughout the league's history that you look at and go, maybe it's them. It's not unanimous. Bob Probert. It's also hard to compare people that played in different eras because they never fought each other, and the game has changed. You look at someone playing now like Ryan Reaves. Ryan Reaves, I think, is without a doubt the best fighter in the NHL right now. It's almost every time he fights, it's decisive win, Ryan Reaves. But look who he's fighting. There's no heavyweights left. He's not fighting tough competition. It's not like he's fighting, guys like Bob Probert or Marty McSorley or Ty Domi. He's fighting guys like Tom Wilson. Who else has Reeves gone with recently? Last year he fought even like some no-name guys that he shouldn't even be fighting. Who's Ryan Reaves' toughest competition if he was to fight right now? You got to think that Adam McQuaid's up there. Tom Wilson's obviously up there. Cody McLeod maybe, although McLeod is a very willing fighter, but he's not someone I would call a great fighter. Milan Lucic, who doesn't fight all that often, but is just a huge, tough guy. Maybe Derek Englund in Vegas. There's just... Ryan Reaves in this era doesn't have the competition to be, we don't know how good of a fighter he is because he's not fighting really good competition. Bob Probert was fighting at the height of NHL fighting. He had all the competition in the world back in the late 80s and early 90s. So just comparing eras is tough when you got, even if we went back 10 years to 2008, look at how much tougher the league was in 2008 than it is in 2018. In 2008, every team still had an enforcer. You had some huge heavyweights in the league, guys like Brian McGrattan, Colton Orr, Eric Goddard, George Laraque, George Parros. It was a totally different game just 10 years ago than it is now. And then when you look at 2008 compared to 1988, it's a totally different game again there. So it's a hard question to answer, and it's a hard thing to look at because then prior to the 1970s, there wasn't that much fighting. If you look at the fight rates in the 50s and 60s, it was down to like where it is now basically. It was only like 1 out of 4 games had a fight. By the time you got to the 70s, it started to go up to where like every other game had a fight. And as you got into the 80s, it got to I think 1987 was the highest fight rate in league history, and it was well over 1 fight per game. But the eras are all different, and it's constantly evolving and going up and down and changing. So were there any fighters guys who fought in the 60s, let's say, who if they had played in the 80s would be a Bob Probert or would be thought of as one of the toughest guys of all time or the greatest fighter of all time? Is Probert just thought of that way by so many people because of the era he played in, or what if he played now? well, he probably wouldn't make... Well, actually, I was about to say he probably wouldn't make an NHL roster now, but that's probably not true, because Bob Probert was one of those guys that could play. Yes, he was extremely tough and very, very feared, but he could play hockey too. He had a decent number of points in his career, so maybe he would make a team now. And if he did, he probably wouldn't fight as much. He'd probably wouldn't have been fighting, over 20 times a year. He probably would only be fighting, maybe 9 or 10 times. Then would we still think of him, if he played now, as the greatest fighter of all time? Who knows? I just want to know. I'm kind of rambling here. This whole video basically is I want to ask you guys, comment down in the comment section, who do you think is the greatest fighter of all time? I think it's Bob Probert. There are certainly other people out there that could claim the title. Let me know what you guys think, please. I think this is just, a fun, engaging thing to think about. And just let me know. So like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media, check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links in the description below. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And let's see what this comment section looks like and what people think. We'll see who agrees with me and who doesn't. So talk to you guys soon. Thank you.